from the Gonzales Civic Center, Convention Center there, right underneath the Tower of the Americas. Landrum, I hope you're doing well on this beautiful Friday morning here in Birmingham. Hopes it's the same down in the heart of Texas.
It is not the sunny skies we saw yesterday, Pat, and good morning to all of you. Miss you all. It's overcast, but at least we got a little bit of a breeze and had a nice breeze last night on the Riverwalk. It was quite pleasant. But no rain yet. There's some scattered thunderstorms, but I'm sure it's always a sunny day there at 18 South and Homewood.
Oh, it certainly is. We're looking forward to what we've got in store for our listeners. Already had some people stop on by and say hello. They're going to come back. This is just an incredible shopping center. This is not too far away from your home, Landrum, and you saw when this thing was being built. And 18 South, one of the first proprietors that was able to get in here. And so I'm looking forward to everybody because we get talked about all the time about the great gear that we wear from 18 South, and Molly's got her three-man front to 18 South gear on today. I know you were on the Riverwalk last night. You had your 18 South gear, Conrad and his quarter zip. So we're excited about our listeners being able to come and get an opportunity to meet Patrick Isbell and Lacey, his wife, and the fine people down here at the Edge.
Well, and I love that store. And me and my wife, we went in and we need to upgrade our wardrobe in time for spring. And they have so many cool, not only designers and lines that they carry, but giving you an example right now, and you can tell Patrick, I'm wearing one of the Collars & Co. polos.
Oh, yeah.
I've got the Travis Matthew performance pants on. I wore the 18 South, it was just the softest cotton ever T-shirt last night. But that's what I packed, and I packed these Collars & Co. because you can pack them in a carry-on, and then you can pull them out. You don't have to steam them in the shower. You don't have to worry about the collar laying down or whatever. They look great. And so it's stuff that you don't have to tend to when you get to a hotel. Who wants to iron? Who wants to steam? You just hang it up. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on it. So please pass that along to Patrick.
Absolutely. So later today from 2 until 7, there will have the Mizzen and Main buy one, get one half off at 18 South. So this is going to be a wonderful event. Molly, a little bit later today, there's some other activities going on here at the Edge.
Yeah, we've got a Stallions watch party here tonight. I think all the horsemen are going to be here. We've already seen Don Don. He's already made an early appearance. He had to leave for a little bit, but he just came by to say hi to let us know that
the mayor will be back.
He will be back.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
The mayor will be back.
He will make an appearance again if you want to take pictures or whatnot. But yeah, I'm not surprised that the first person we saw here was Don Don, though.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So Landrum, spending your time in San Antonio, I know a lot has been built up about this weekend, and I got a feeling that you've seen a lot of Auburn people down on the Riverwalk getting ready for this weekend. Yeah, last night at dinner, saw a lot of Auburn people, saw some Florida people, so Florida fans that listen to our show, you do have a representation. I've seen one Duke fan so far, but I think today with the open practice, so you can already tell things have ramped up as I was walking from the hotel to the convention center. It's about a half-mile walk. There was school buses already lined up with kids that are going to go in, I'm sure, to watch the open practice. And you got Fan Fest that starts up today. You got the music festival that's going to be kicking off. You've got one tomorrow pregame, and I think Conrad's dad's favorite, Jelly Roll, is going to be performing, which should be really, really big. Let's see, T-Pain, I think tomorrow. You got Chris Stapleton on Sunday, but that's an event that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy as well. But yeah, it's ramping up, and there's Auburn fans that are on their way, and I know some red-eye flights that are coming out of Birmingham, or at least the state of Alabama, that's going to have Auburn people on them Saturday morning. So I think Auburn will be well represented. On social media, you had an opportunity yesterday when we went off the air. I wanted you to touch on this for a minute because you got an opportunity to have an interview with Dennis Gates at Mizzou and just a bunch of other coaches that are there in attendance. And you just went on and on about your sit-down with Dennis Gates. Oh, Dennis Gates of Missouri, just so dynamic and incredible. And I even mentioned, you try to, Pat, when you talk to some of these guys, you want to break the ice. It just depends. It's kind of all by feel. But, he wears the dark suit with a gold tie. Mm-hmm. And wait, was he wearing that in San Antonio? He was not wearing that. He was wearing. So you didn't recognize him, did you? Yeah, he's wearing like something you would buy at 18 South. Like every day, looks really comfortable, looks great, luxury wear. And he's wearing that, and I said, I've never seen you without the suit.
And so the story he tells is when he always dreamed about being a head coach. He actually visioned it. He actually saw it in his mind, and he saw himself. And back then, of course, most coaches wore suits. And he said, I always saw myself on the sideline as a head coach of a program wearing a suit. That's why I wear the suit, because I remember the dream. I remember where I started. And it was just outstanding conversation. Asked him, obviously, about the turnaround, going to the tournament year 1 there in Como, and then year 2 going winless. And then this year what they did, just a dynamic individual, and could not say enough nice things about him.
There's no doubt about it. So you can catch all that on all of our social media channels. All right, let's talk about what's coming up today on Three Man Front. It's going to start in just a couple minutes because the voice of Westwood One Radio, the basketball broadcast, someone that Molly knows very well. He's a Nebraskan. Is that right, Nebraska?
That's right.
Is that what they say?
Good job.
Okay. Kevin Kugler is going to join Landrum there in San Antonio coming up in just a couple minutes. Wimp Sanderson will join us at 10:30. We'll get his thoughts on the Final Four. Barrett Sallee will join us at 11 o'clock. We'll ask him what the heck's going on with the Atlanta Braves. They're 0-7. They have their home opener that you can hear on Jocks 3, 690 tonight. Also later on in the show, we're very happy about this one. You're going to have an opportunity. Nate Oats is going to join you live in San Antonio. So the head basketball coach of the University of Alabama Crimson Tide will be on Three Man Front in the 12 o'clock hour.
Yeah, very privileged, and we appreciate our friends at Westwood One, and we appreciate Coach Oats for making time.
Because he's not doing a lot of these, by the way.
No,
I've been told.
He is not. We are, we are one of just
three, maybe
3. Yep. Yeah. And the other 2 you would certainly recognize. So we appreciate him taking time and visiting with us. But just to kind of give you an idea, I told you about seeing Mark Few and some of these other coaches. So where we are in the convention center, we're on the bottom floor, and we're in, wouldn't call it a ballroom, but it's a nice room on Radio Row. Well, next to us in an adjacent room, that is where the National Association of Basketball Coaches is meeting. So that's where a lot of these coaches are getting together. They're sharing grievances, maybe talking
transfer portal.
I mean, golly, I will not name the coach. But he was walking by, and he was talking to somebody else, and they said, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?" And he said, "Man, I'm just living the dream, the dream that is the nightmare of the transfer portal." That is literally a conversation that I just heard 5 minutes ago. Transfer portal, market for players, dollar values, all of that is hot and heavy, especially this time of year.
It certainly is. And you mentioned Auburn will have an open practice coming up at 1 o'clock today. At the exact same time at 1 o'clock in Tuscaloosa, the Alabama Crimson Tide football team is going to have their second scrimmage of the spring practice. So it'll be interesting to get a little bit of news out of Tuscaloosa with that. We've got the Stallions tonight. They try to get off the snide. They try to get their first win of the season. They're up in Michigan taking on the Panthers. The watch party, as Molly mentioned, can be seen right here at the Edge in Homewood. So stop on by. It's going to be a huge event here in Homewood. We've got the Braves tonight, their home opener. So Landrum, there's a lot of stuff going on just a typical Friday in April, right?
Yeah, there is. Giddy up, and look, maybe the Braves will get rained out, right? We just kick the can down the road. Do we really need to see them play tonight?
Yes.
You're playing the Marlins, Landrum. Come on.
They're favorite tonight, man. Swelly's on the bump.
Oh, Swelly's on the bump.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's been the one bright spot. It's a Nebraska morning.
You're
We're
welcome.
talking about Swelly, Kevin Kugler, and we got Molly on.
Absolutely. Go Big Red.
See, it's
I guess technically you're
Nebraska
on every
feel
day,
tonight.
but yeah, it feels like a very, very Big Red kind of day.
Yeah, I was looking at Schwelly's numbers. 22 career starts as a Brave, 3.19 ERA. Not bad.
It's pretty good.
Not bad at all.
I'm looking at Brad Underwood just across the way right now. Sorry.
He should know his way around those parts from Stephen F. Austin days.
I think he does. He looks good.
Speaking of Texas A&M on 3, just a couple of minutes ago, Pete Nakos, our friend at On 3, he has listed the candidates for the Texas A&M job. Alan Huss is a name that we mentioned yesterday from High Point. Steve Lutz from Oklahoma State, his name is now in the mix. How about Chris Mack from Charleston? Chris Mack, who was Xavier, and then he went on to Louisville. He got fired at Louisville. Now he's at Charleston. Luke Murray, UConn assistant. That's the comedian Bill Murray's son. And how about this one? Bucky McMillan.
Ooh.
He says a new name that has emerged in the mix at Texas A&M is Samford head coach Bucky McMillan. He's won more than 20 games in each of his last 4 seasons and earned an NCAA tournament berth last year. His style of offense even has a nickname, Bucky Ball. The Bulldogs finished the season averaging 82.9 points per game, which ranked number 13 in the nation. So Samford's Bucky McMillan
That's a
now
fun
added to
brand
the
of
list.
basketball. That's a fun brand of basketball. I think A&M fans would fall in love with it. A lot of high-scoring games. A lot of overs, Pat.
I'm all about it.
Kevin Kugler, the voice of NCAA championships where Westwood won, is actually sitting here in our presence. Kevin, if you'd like to say hello to the gang back in Birmingham.
I always like to say hello to the guys back in Birmingham.
Yes.
Hello, Birmingham.
Listen to that voice.
Oh,
Go ahead, tell him hello, Molly.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Miss Molly.
I feel like we need to do a Nebraska cheer. We're just talking about Spencer Schwellenbach going tonight for the Braves.
Former Husker great, and now Braves legend.
He is a Braves legend. He's the only guy that's played well in the first 7 games.
Yeah, I know it's been a rough week for Braves fans. I'm going to feel confident that you, behind the dulcet tones of Brandon Gaudin on the broadcast, will break things out very soon.
We blame Barrett Salee. He joins us every Friday.
As you should, yeah. I think that's fair.
He just started with the Braves pre- and post-game show, and I'm like, Kevin, he is getting all kinds of hate from Braves fans.
Well,
like it's his
everything
fault.
was fine until he showed up.
McAlpin's there, we're winning championships.
Yeah.
Barrett comes in, we can't win a game.
Yeah, I mean, you notice Gaudin showed up, a dear friend, and everything was fine. Barrett shows up, problems.
Yeah.
I understand why you would. I understand why you'd give him grief, and I think you should continue to do so.
We certainly will. Kevin Kugler, a friend of the show, and you've joined us throughout the tournament, but he's the play-by-play voice since 2008, right?
Yeah.
You've been calling this thing. Wow, you're so blessed. We're all blessed to do what
You're
we
about
do.
to say you're so old. That too.
Well, yeah, no. Also, you're very familiar with the Big Ten. We talked to you a little bit leading up, I guess, to the Sweet 16, where we had a conversation with you, and it was Auburn was going to take on that Michigan team and then potentially Michigan State. What you saw from Auburn in the Sweet 16 and then eventually last Sunday, did you like what you saw from Bruce Pearl and the Tigers?
I did, and I think it's hard to do what they have done because they were struggling a little bit coming into the tournament. They'd lost 3 of 4 entering the NCAA tournament, and it's hard when you get to the best games to turn it around. And that's kind of what they've been able to do. I saw that Michigan State team a lot this year. That's a really good team to beat. That's a deep team. That's a team that's well coached. I mean, obviously, Tom Izzo's a Hall of Famer. The fact that they were able to do that and do it without Janai Broom for a little while he's banged up, I was really impressed with what I saw and what I've seen from this Auburn team. I think the experience factor is big for Auburn. I love this in the transfer portal era. You have guys on both of these teams that have been here for a long time, and you have the familiarity factor when you play Florida and Auburn together. I know we're in the portal era, and I know a lot of guys have transferred in, but some of these transfers have been now with Bruce Pearl 2 and 3 years, Todd Golden with 2 and 3 years. So I think it's almost as if you've gone reverse portal here, where it used to be Northern Iowa and those kind of teams would get old for 2 or 3 years, and that's when they would get good in the tournament. Well, all of a sudden you see Auburn's getting old and Florida's getting old because they can afford to have the guys stick around for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, and where Auburn is, and what you talk about Denver Jones or a Chaney Johnson.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, Janai Broom, that's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, transfer portal story that we've had in college basketball, just because, as Bruce Pearl mentioned yesterday, the 3 years combined and now being National Player of the Year finalist. But this Auburn team, some coaches, they try to sell their team, we're the underdog. I think this Auburn team is embracing that underdog role, and legitimately, from people you talk to, you say, okay, in order, who do you think has the best chance? If you go to Vegas, who has the best chance? Auburn's their 4th. I think Auburn's in a really good spot, especially in a rematch where they're trying to get revenge against a conference foe.
Well, no doubt. And I mean, I think it helps even more that Florida came in to Auburn and beat them there. It's an additional little thing to use as, I guess, as motivation. They came into our house and beat us. Now we have a chance to ruin their season in the Final Four. I love that kind of motivation. I think it works, especially at the college level. Maybe not as much in the NFL. Oh, they beat us at our house. Great, who cares? I think when you look at it at the college level for basketball, I think it still matters. I think college sports is driven so much by emotion that even little nuggets like that can push a team.
We've heard this sentiment, and it's true. This year, the Cinderellas, we really haven't had that story. A 10 seed, air quotes, Arkansas, with reportedly, prior to the season, the highest NIL budget of any team out there. So, yeah, Coach Cal in Arkansas, that was a Cinderella, right, that made that run. But you have 1 seeds. You've called a NCAA Final Four with all ones.
Yep.
You've been a part of it when they've had that Cinderella, that team that made that run. I'm not going to ask what you prefer, but I think having all 1 seeds, I think that sets up for a lot of positive things for people watching or for people tuning in to your broadcast.
My first one in '08 that you mentioned was all 4 number 1 seeds in San Antonio. And the Saturday games were not great, but we had a legendary national championship game between Memphis and Kansas. It was one of the best national championship games I've called in all these years. And it was because you had 2 terrific teams that were playing. They were evenly matched, and they played an evenly matched game. I really think the depth of the teams we have in this Final Four might be even better than the '08 with all the 4 number 1 seeds. Auburn and Florida is going to be just a tremendous game, and I think Houston and Duke has the potential to be really good because Houston doesn't get blown out. Houston may lose. Somebody's going to lose that game. But I don't think Duke, with all their talent, is going to blow a Houston team out because Houston's just so good defensively and they do such a good job of controlling the pace of a game that I think it's really hard for them to get blown out. So I think we have 2 really potentially exciting and great games on the horizon for Saturday.
With you being the voice of so many of these huge games on stages like this, is there anything that you have learned over the years and taken away just from the Final Four? Because there's so much build-up for the game, and we think we know about these teams, but then it's a little bit different. These teams have been through a tournament. Then you're playing in a 68,000-seat venue. If you're Auburn, if you're Florida, all of America, the eyes are on. You know what's at stake. What have you learned? Is there any takeaways that Kevin Kugler can put in his list of check boxes?
You know, I have all this prep that I have in front of me, and I've written all this stuff down, and I have all these notes.
You have
that
great
I've taken
handwriting, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's fortunate I can still read it. But I have all this prep ready, and I've learned over the years that when you get to this stage, sometimes the trends, sometimes the things that you've seen over the course of the season don't bear out when you get into this building, whatever this building is, because usually it's a football stadium. Whether it's the depth perception, whether it's the crowd, whether it's the stage, whether it's the stakes. Sometimes teams play out of type for a while when they get to a stage like this. Now, eventually they figure out their path. Sometimes it's too late for that. But that's the one thing that I would say, when you look at these Final Four games, don't be surprised if a team comes out and doesn't play the way you've seen them play for a while. It's different here. It's just different for so many reasons. These guys have been in town for 3 days now. It's a different feel than your normal regular season or even conference tournament or even other NCAA tournament game. It has the big feel to it.
So your broadcast team of Hummel and Coach Carlissimo, do you do anything different for the Final Four? Prep-wise, pregame meal, before?
No. I mean, I am very fortunate. I love those 2 gentlemen. They're great friends away from this. I mean, I've spent most of my season with Robbie. So Robbie and I have been together now for the better portion of the last 10 days, traveling across the country doing basketball games. I don't do anything different with them because we are in such a good rhythm. We spend so much time together anyway. I've seen Robbie more than my wife over the last 2 weeks.
This is a great food city. I've learned that.
It's a fantastic food city. I mean, we went from Indianapolis to Las Vegas to here. And we've eaten well in every city.
Well, you are always so considerate with your time and to join us here on Three Man Front to talk ball and to talk Nebraska, and we always appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, Molly and I don't have a spring game to talk about this year because Matt Rule canceled that, but I'm sure we'll all get together to talk about whatever in the world it is they're doing there in the spring.
Kevin Kugler, Westwood One, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Kevin Kugler joining us, our coverage of the 2025 Men's Final Four from San Antonio, part of Westwood One's Radio Row coverage. We continue Three Man Front on a Friday. Jocks 94.5.
It's 10:23, Jocks 94.5. It's a great interview there with Kevin Kugler, the voice of Westwood One. He'll be on the call this weekend for the Final Four, and you can hear that right here on Jocks 94.5 and the Jocks family of networks. Of course, you'll get the Auburn broadcast as long as Auburn continues to play. So you'll hear Andy Bertram right here on Jocks 94.5 tomorrow. And then if they play in the national championship game, you will hear that feed on Monday night. If Auburn is eliminated, then you will hear Kevin Kugler calling the game, the national championship game. We are live here at the Edge in Homewood, 18 South, Corbo Wine Bar. All the great vendors and, of course, the businesses here at the Edge, Molly. And a little bit later today, there's going to be some other activities going on here at the Edge.
Yeah, there will be some live music up here. We're going to have a Stallions watch party tonight. Like I said earlier, Don Don's already made his appearance, so the Horsemen will be here, which means it'll be loud. You'll hear a lot of giddy-ups from the crew, but that will be a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll see Don Don again.
Yeah, just had a great listener, Jocks 94.5, Larry in Homewood, stop by and say hello to us. He's working right over the hill here, and he was about to go see a client, and he wanted to stop by and say hello to both of us. So we welcome that. Come on by and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. You know, owning a home is great, but it can also come with its share of headaches. Some of you out there have foundation issues. Cracks have started showing up. Those doors and windows won't close just right. You can't ignore it because those issues will get worse over time. That's why you need to call Alabama Professional Services at 205-951-9717. It'll be the best decision you make to protect your home. APS can send a team out. They really know their stuff. They'll inspect everything, explain the problem clearly, and they'll offer the solutions that can satisfy you and get that problem fixed immediately. The number, 205-951-9717, or you can simply visit them at alabamaprofessional.com. I guess the leaf blower didn't get the memo that we're going to be here, did he?
No, I don't think so at all. I know Conrad was actually asking me when you didn't have your headset on, Pat, where'd the leaf blower go? Is he still here? I said, well, I hear him, but I don't see him. But now he's right in front of us.
You got to go lay down the law, Molly. You got to do it.
I know. Listen, you're talking to Employee of the Month here.
Are there a lot of leaves out there today?
Not really.
They're blowing AstroTurf. I'm confused.
Are you supposed to blow the AstroTurf? Doesn't it have the pellets that are supposed to? Does this have the pellets? That's really nice AstroTurf. Does it have the recycled rubber in the bottom?
No, I did not see that. That is most fields these days. No.
Okay.
Did not have that. But
all right. Well,
Molly was disappointed that she pulled up and they had the 3-man front logo on the Jumbotron and not a picture of her winning Employee of the Month.
It's okay. Maybe next time. Maybe tonight.
Oh, you're assuming that you're going to win it again.
Well, you never know.
Pretty big assumption there.
Maybe you win it.
Hey,
I'm
UConn
good.
went back-to-back last year.
No, I'm good.
Hey, thanks, Conrad.
UConn last year, Molly this year. That's how it
Exactly.
works.
So there was a meeting yesterday in Dallas. I know so much talk has been going on about what's going on in college basketball. How about the college football playoff? They had a meeting yesterday in Dallas. It concluded, and as expected, no votes or decisions were made on seeding and format for 2025 and beyond. Executive Director Rich Clark called Thursday's meeting an extension of the annual meeting that they're going to have later this month. They are walking down the path to making some decisions, according to Richard Clark. Now, the commissioners didn't focus in this meeting on just one issue like the 1 through 12 seeding or just the 2025 format versus the 2026 and beyond. So they had a multitude of conversations about many different aspects of what's going on with the CFP moving forward. Rich Clark's final quote out of the meetings, he says they're really trying to look at it holistically to make a good decision on this because it's going to set the tone for what happens down the road, end of quote. You know, it's interesting, Landrum, because you are at a tournament that when the College Football Playoff Selection Committee was established, that was what it was supposed to mirror. It was supposed to mirror what you're experiencing there in San Antonio, which is the college basketball national championship and a tournament. And for whatever reason, because of politics, logistics, it just has not happened for football. But you're at an event that is as buttoned up as you're ever going to find when it comes to NCAA.
Oh, yes, it really is. And, you know, it kind of makes me think, having this tournament feel, and I realize that basketball, as far as infrastructure-wise and trying to to get it in different parts of the country with the college football playoff. And I know as far as the revenue and having on-campus games, but everything is just, like you said, so buttoned up and so uniform here, and they've been doing it at a high level for so long. Just the efficiency that everything gets done here, and I've seen it before, but it blows me away. With there's not a whole lot of question marks. It's a bridge that has been crossed many, many times.
Well, spring weather in Alabama can be really unpredictable, so that's why you need the reliability of a Trane, voted America's most trusted HVAC brand. And right now you can receive up to a 10-year warranty on parts and labor on select Trane home comfort systems. So go and find out more at Trane.com.
The coach, Wimp Sanderson, is going to join us next, brought to you by Craneworks. We'll get his thoughts on the Final Four national championship game. That's next on 3-Man Front.
Friday here on 3-Man Front, Landrum Roberts live from Radio Row here in San Antonio. The 2025 Final Four coming up tomorrow, Auburn and Florida in the first game. And then in the nightcap, you get Duke taking on Houston. And our Radio Row coverage with our friends at Westwood One is being brought to you in part by our friends at Straight Talk. Need more data so you can stream your jam mix on loop? Well, you can switch to Straight Talk. Get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com. Every coach that I have met so far in my time in San Antonio knows our next guest. He is a legend. The coach, Wimp Sanderson, presented by our friends at Craneworks.
And joining us now, brought to you by Craneworks, Coach Wimp Sanderson. Coach, I hope you're doing well on this Friday.
I'm doing okay. I told people at Landrum I thought maybe he was going to wait till the game was over before you had me on. I had a lot of things to say. He talks too much today. He talks too much out there.
Yeah.
He acts too much.
Well, you know what?
Let me ask you something, Landrum. When you interviewed Porter Mosier, did you know he worked for me?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, "Oh, Birmingham." I said, "Yeah," and he said, "Are you on the same station as Wimp?" And I said, "Well, Coach is on our show every Friday." And he said, "Well, I do his radio. I love Wimp. I love Wimp. It was just a Wimp love fest." But yes,
corny, you're so corny. You
you are. You play it off.
All those true statements.
You play it off like you're so gruff. Everybody loves you big teddy bear.
When am I going to get my gear?
Yeah.
Y'all talk about gear in the morning. Good gosh, everybody got gear but me. I ain't get any.
What do you want, Coach?
We can get you anything
whatever
you
y'all
want.
got, I'll take gear.
Will you wear three-man front gear? We'll get you gear.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure, I'll wear three-man front. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right, now, let me give you the basketball. You need to know. We need to talk the real theory of who's going to win the games, who might win the games according to what they did. Okay. Auburn, if Janai's well, he needs to post up a lot. If you face the basket, he needs to post up on the left-hand side. Put that shoulder towards the baseline and shoot that bank shot. If Florida can keep him off of doing that, that will help Florida. The key to the game is offensive and defensive rebounding. This is the best offensive and defensive rebounding team that Auburn will play. If they get second and third shots off their missed threes, off shots that they missed inside and put it back in, Auburn's in trouble. They're darn good. If Auburn does not defend the three, not the guard out front, that Booker Bear can just drill it. He shoots the lights out of it. He's very, very good. You got to defend the three. Now, Florida has not played well. Now, I understand, and I heard Landrum say what I said the other day, and he's right. Every game takes on its personality. They could have got beat by UConn. They should have got beat by Texas Tech. They have a lot of turnovers. The problem for Florida is they turn the basketball over. If their basketball turnovers are in 10 or more, then Auburn's going to win the game. If it's not, if you feel that way, then you should take Auburn. Florida's 2.5-point favorite. If you feel that Auburn's going to come in there and defend and rebound with Auburn, Janai's going to have to score a little bit outside. He's not going to score. Janai plays more below the rim than above the rim. All right, I've said enough. Go ahead.
Coach, how important is it? We always hear this old adage about, okay, you're playing a team for a second time. It's tough to beat them 2-3 times in a year. In regards to Auburn's prep against Florida, I read an article where they said that after that Florida loss, they literally watched tape for 3 straight days on why Florida had the success they did against Auburn. How do you prepare for a team that you've previously played during the season, especially in basketball? Is there a key to it?
There's a key to it. Let's look and see why this guy scored 20. Let's look and see why he got the easy last shots. Why are they rebounding the way they are? Is it effort or position? You take those little things and you break them down, and you're going to get ready for the game because you're playing the chance to go to the final game in the country. So you'll be ready to play. Is it a plus because you lost? Maybe so. Maybe a little. I don't know that. As I've said, I think he's ready to play. He scored 18, I think, in the other game. But they're going to have more rebounders than him. And the boards are going to be critical. And Florida, again, I'm repeating myself, but I think it's important. Florida turns the basketball over, And for whatever reason, they don't rebound offensively and defensively. If they don't rebound defensively and Auburn gets second and third shots at a missed three, then Auburn wins the game. If they do, and Florida rebounds well and it has 6 turnovers, Florida wins the game. So I think that's the real big factor. The matchups are important. You teach them the matchups, so you've already taught them that. If they match them up well, then you leave it there. Denver is the best defensive player they have, and so they'll probably put him on who they feel is the best offensive shooter that Florida has. So it's an interesting game. It's hard to pick. I'm not going to pick it. The second game, I'll not pick it. But this game, it's very exciting.
Coach, I did want to ask you about how these games are officiated. I thought for the most part, the officials, especially when games involving SEC teams, they've kind of let the guys, they've let them play a little bit, and we haven't had a lot of quick whistles. Do you think we maybe get that same consistency here in the Final Four, especially with two teams as physical on the inside and just physical in general as Auburn and Florida? You think they let them play tomorrow night?
I think so. I think what happens to the guys in charge of officials, hey, look, you guys, call what's there, but don't guess. Don't guess it. Don't guess it was a reach-in. Call what's there, keep the game going, but don't guess. You know one of the real keys, or 2 of the 3 of the real keys, is your conditioning, your ability to be in the right position so you can call the correct foul. And you won't be a homer in this game because it's not going to be a home court advantage. So I would say that they'll let them play as best they can. And I think the thought to them is let them play as much as you can, and let's try to keep it as clean as we possible without too many whistles. I think that's what I think. So for you people that are gambling and 2.5 points, I don't know. I'm not going to call the game, but I can tell you right now, a lot of people gamble during the game. You can take a look at the first 10 minutes to see if Florida is playing with the capabilities they've been playing. They have not been playing that way. They could have lost to a Texas Tech game with 3:35 on the clock and down 9. Auburn has been very consistent. They do a good job with it. He does a great job with them defensively, and they're a basketball team that cares about each other. And so it should be a heck of a game. In the second game, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. I was going to ask you something. I was going to ask you about the venue because I've heard some people talk about it, other people it doesn't bother them. But now you're playing in a dome stadium as opposed to playing in an arena. There's going to be some depth issues, things of that nature. Is that overblown? Is that something that you as a coach, when you went and played in a different style of venue, did that ever affect your teams, or how do you prepare for that? Just hopefully have a good shoot-around today?
I think that's a good question. When you don't have a background, I thought that your shooting was more difficult. I thought that you had to shoot more before the game and the days of practice before you play. I like to have a background. Did I say anything to my kids about it? No, I did not. I never said anything at all. Did I say something to the assistants? Sure. So just because we were talking about the game, nothing they could do about it either. If the background is there, I think you may shoot it a little bit better. I just do. I think that's a good question. It's one that people don't ask much. So they have to shoot it well. Both teams have to shoot it well to win. But let me tell you, folks, when I say rebounding, you kind of yawn and go on to something else. But those missed shots, sometimes those missed shots on the threes all the way to the other baseline. You got to run them Booger Bears down. And if they're a missed shot right under the goal, then Florida has the best chance because they got the best rebounding team, I think, that Auburn has played. But they have not played as good. That does not mean anything at all. It may be they play the best ever play. Auburn's got a great chance to win the basketball game. They're well coached. Both of them are well coached, and we'll see.
Coach, what about your friend Kelvin Sampson in the nightcap?
Yeah, Kelvin is a good friend of mine. I played golf with him. He said I never smiled. We play all the time. Kelvin can't play dead in the cowboy movie. He's a left-handed golfer.
Oh no!
He thinks he can, but he said I was always complaining about my last shot. instead of worrying about the next shot. Well, I said, yeah. I said, well, yeah, because the next shot was because I had to hit. That I couldn't be. I was playing over at Fayetteville, Arkansas.
I love how he's trying to coach you up in a golf round.
Oh yeah. He's trying to coach. He can't play dead. So anyway, Kelvin is a really great basketball coach that really works him hard, and he does a great job defending the opponent. He will defend as well as anybody. And I think, of course, as you know, my team's, I guess you can add a plus if I guess it's defense. I don't know if the pluses or not. This Duke team is very, very good in the way they play defensively. They switch everything. Now, folks, let me explain this to you. They don't mind for a big guy to be on a little guy, or for a little guy to be on. Mismatches don't bother them. They don't think the mismatch is going to last very long. And they got this 7'9" guy in the middle there. That if they get by, then Duke will have you slap that thing out and you can't shoot it. So they switched against Alabama. Alabama had not seen that. They probably weren't quite as comfortable with it as they need to be. They need to work on it a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. I'm not coaching the next team, but the switching defenses hurt them some in that particular game. So here's what I think. I think even though they are as good defensively as they are, and Duke is kind of close, I think that Duke is a little bit better offensively. They run a lot of back screens. They do a good job with the big guy on putbacks. They throw a lot of passes to him at the basket for dunks. I think if I just had to gamble, and I'm not gambling. If I had to gamble, I might. It's a 5.5 point deal though, so you better think about 5.5 points. I'm not sure it's 5.5 points. I always try to pick the game, but I never can pick the line with the crowd. So it's 5.5. A lot of passes to the big guy inside. They're a great shooting team. You know, they've got all those guys that could play well together. They are a long team. They're long armed. They are a long basketball team. Auburn played them well. Got beat by them, but here's the catch: when you come back from Maui and you go to Duke and play, you ain't real good. You ain't good that day. And so I give Auburn a lot of credit for being where they were. People talked about all you got to get to be. Coming back from Maui is a tough deal to go in and play. Now, what else? Anything else?
I was going to ask you about Duke's defense. They did such a great job against Alabama in defending the three, and Houston's got three guys that shoot in the 40% from behind the arc.
Yeah.
I mean, how does Kelvin? How does he work that? Because that's the DNA of his team, just like at Alabama.
Yep.
You know, it was predicated on the outside shooting. I mean, what happens? Do they just take that blueprint that what they saw Alabama did not do very well against Duke and try to fix that?
We used to play 4-on-5, and that way these four guys had to get against these five guys and pressure them. If you almost get to the 3-point shooter, that ain't good enough. We go in the halftime of our games, and we almost got to the 3-point shooter. We didn't get there, but we're gonna find somebody that'll get there. I want you there. I want you there, and I want you contesting that shot. I want the arms and the hands up, and I want to make it hard for that guy to shoot the basketball. Even with us, now Kelvin probably won't do it because we were on win. We left our feet. We ran at them and left our feet. You're gonna say to me, well, when they drove by, so what? They drove by, somebody picked them up. We one time we did that a couple of times. They were a little bit more hesitant to shoot the basketball, but we left. All of our guys. Once we got down against Florida 18 in the SEC tournament one time at the halftime. We wouldn't contest anybody, and I raised, and we got back in there and contested those things, and that was a good example I'm making, and it worked for us. So Kelvin's got to get these guys, got to get to them. He's going to guard them hard without the ball. One of the ways too, if you've got a guy that handles the basketball and dribbles it, everybody's trying to guard him. You know what? Guard the booger bear without the ball. And by that I mean at times turn your back to the rest of the play and keep him from getting the basketball. He's worn out. I used to do that all the time. I'd take two men and I'd guard this one guy with two. I'd alternate two men on this one guy. and try to wear him down because he was the best shooter. Didn't do it on pistol Pete very good, but you would do that, and you would get his legs would be out from under him. So my theory is at times you guard the man without the ball better than you guard him with the ball. Now with three guys there, like you mentioned, they'll be physical, they'll be tough, they'll shoot less threes. Talking about Houston, but they'll be in the game, and it should be a great game. I pick Duke. I'll pick Duke a little bit.
Okay.
Now I don't know about, but that, hey, when I do that, y'all, I keep forgetting there's 5.5 involved.
It's a lot of points, Coach.
Yeah, it is a lot of points, and Landon just said he's not going to do that.
No. No.
If a question he asked me, he's taking Houston in 5.5.
Yes, I'm going with Kelvin, who can't play dead in the Cowboy show playing golf.
Well, he can't.
I'm going to tell him. Wimp said
yeah,
that.
Tell him. Yeah, he said, well, I'll tell you what he'll say. Well, he rode around the car talking about the next shot, and he never smiled. I said, shit, what am I smiling? I want to smile at a bad shot?
You two are perfect together because you neither one of y'all smiles.
No, we don't smile. I don't even know I don't smile. It's because people don't like you, but they don't smile. I don't ever know I don't smile.
You got a great smile if you ever smile.
Smiling cap and go look in the mirror all the time. See
Landrum, we're going to get him to smile when we give him all this three-man front gear we're about to get him.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
Oh, Wimp loves free stuff. He'll smile.
I bet you give me a pair of socks and a hat.
No. We'll do you up right, Coach. I promise you.
Some underwear or something like that.
No. We're going to dress you top
underwear,
of the line.
socks, and a hat.
Yes.
18 South. We're going to get you hooked up. That's
big
no
old
problem.
sun hat for Coach.
You give me a little whistle.
Little whistle.
Yeah, whistle. Y'all,
Coach,
y'all give me
Coach, tell us about Craneworks.
You'll get me a T-shirt that says I'm on the show every Friday at 10:30. I don't want a T-shirt like that. Craneworks. Go to Craneworks and they'll tear down what you need torn down, and they'll build up what they need, what they want you to build up, or what you want to get built up. They'll bring operators in there, trying them know what they're doing. Craneworks is absolutely the greatest company you've ever seen. Get online, craneworks.com, and take a look at them. If you want to go to Rental Works, then you go to Rental Works, and they'll bring an operator over there. You can rent it, and you can do it yourself. I can't, as I said on this show, I can't screw in a light bulb. I can't do anything. But operators can come over there and show you how to do it, and you save a little money there. So go by Craneworks. Tell them you heard inside the locker room that Wimp's getting a bunch of you. That's it.
Well, Coach, we appreciate it, and there's a lot. In all seriousness, there's a lot of coaches here that think a lot of you. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Well, if they remember me, guess what? The cotton picking guys are older than dirt. They're older than. If they remember me, they are older than dirt.
Oh, yeah. Bye. Coach Wimp Sanderson, presented by Craneworks, joining us here on Three Man Front. We'll continue. We got all kinds of guests. They're going to be dropping by live from Radio Row. Also there at 18 South in Homewood. It is semifinal eve here on Three Man Front. We continue on Jocks 94.5. We continue our coverage of the 2025 Final Four here in San Antonio. Landrum Roberts on Radio Row, provided by our friends at Westwood One. Well, coming up this weekend, you don't want to indulge in alcohol. Maybe you don't drink alcohol. Well, we got a great alcohol replacement, and it's our friends at Mystic Beverage, made in Blount County, Alabama. It's sparkling water infused with various cannabinoids. My go-to is the Lift Blend, and you can find all of these products at your local Piggly Wiggly, but the Lift Blend has got the green coffee bean extract in addition to the CBG, the CBD. It's going to pick you up when you're watching games tomorrow, and it's the warmer weather season, so a lot of activities outside with the kids and the family. Mystic Beverage, mysticbeverage.com. Elevate your mood. It's not only the Lift Blend. You want to go with the Nirvanic, the High Hills Delta 9. They got all kinds of products, whatever you're trying to achieve. Mysticbeverage.com, Blount County, Alabama. You can find them there at your local Piggly Wiggly. 800-239-WJOX. You can chime in while we have a moment, as Tripp has done. Tripp, welcome in.
Hey, guys. Listen, I'm driving around in Florida, and I love you guys, your app. So let's talk about the Florida-Auburn game. Who's going to win? Not the point spread. Who's going to win? I got a dilemma that I want Pat's expertise to respond to me. But, yeah, who's going to win? Nobody knows, do they? Yeah, who's going to win?
I like Auburn.
I like Auburn.
Yeah, okay. All right, here's what I got, Pat. So I have Auburn plus 650 on the money line, to win it all. I also have Florida at plus 300.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Hey, so Conrad, I'll have to step away at 11:10.
It is 11 o'clock. Welcome back in. It's hour number 2 of three-man front. Pat Smith, Molly Robinson. We are live at the Edge, 18 South in Homewood. Come on by and see us. You can't miss us. We're right in front of the big Jumbotron with the three-man front logo. Meanwhile, Landrum Roberts, he is minutes away from the place of the semifinals of the national championship game coming up this weekend. He is in San Antonio. And joining us now from Atlanta, Georgia, getting ready for opening day. You can hear him on the Braves Radio Network. That is our good friend Barrett Sallee. Barrett, I hope you're doing well on this Friday, better than the 0-7 Braves.
I think anything is better than the 0-7 Braves at this point. But I'm doing good. Hopefully things change now that they're back in Atlanta for the first time. And, I mean, man, those guys have been gone for almost 2 months now. So hopefully sleeping in their own beds got whatever it was out of their system.
What does the security detail look like around your house? It's crazy,
There are a
man.
few.
You were catching
Why are
much
you getting
hate.
blamed for everything, Barrett? I don't
have
understand.
fun with it on this show, but I was reading some of the comments. There are people posing as Braves fans coming after you, man.
Yeah. I mean, apparently it's here's the thing. I know you guys have seen Office Space when Michael Bolton gets asked to change his name, and he says, "Why should I change? He's the one who sucks." Like, Kevin McAlpin left. Like, why can't Kevin catch some strays? Like, why can't Kevin get blamed? He's the one who left.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm getting hit a lot, man. It's not my fault that they can't hit with runners in scoring position.
It's bad. How much flack, in all seriousness, is new hitting coach getting?
Oh, a lot. And it's not just because they're not hitting. It's because that the approach has been all over the place. You know, in the first 2 games, they were taking lots of pitches. They were getting deep in counts. Michael King didn't even last 3 innings. Dylan Cease didn't last 4. And then suddenly after the first 2 games, it was like a complete 180. And it's like, okay, well, what's the plan here? Because before the season, Tim Hires consistently said, work the count. And they did it. And it worked. I mean, look, they got the Padres pitchers, Cease and King, out of the game early. Their plan worked. And then it just suddenly changed, and nobody really knows why.
Talking to Barrett Sallee, you can hear him on the pregame show tonight over on Jox 3, AM 690, as they get ready for the home opener against the Marlins. Okay, let's talk about another aspect. I know the hitting, you got to hit to be able to score runs, but I want to ask you about the bullpen, because right now the bullpen ERA is at 5.40. Just your assessment after the first week of the bullpen.
Well, there's no 8th-inning guy. I mean, that's really all there is to it. If there was a true 8th-inning guy, then everything would settle into place. Pierce Johnson is a matchup guy. Dylan Lee is a matchup guy. There's nobody that you can trust to come in the 8th, no matter who's at bat, and just say, this is my game. There's no Tyler Matzik, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. And ultimately, that's what led to Rafael Iglesias coming in 2 nights ago in the 8th inning with only 1 down. Like, he had to. Like, there was nobody to fill that role. So, do you go out and sign David Robertson? If there was a reason to, he'd have been signed by somebody. It's the same thing as the Trevor Bauer thing. It's not just that the Braves aren't signing him; it's that 29 other teams aren't. And we need to know why. If you have an 8th-inning guy, then you can do the matchup thing with Pierce and with Dylan Lee and with those guys. And Eniel De Los Santos was really good. I think they're going to use him a lot, and maybe he ascends into that role. But that's if you just have that, then everything will fall into place. And maybe it's Kimbrel. I don't know. We'll see what happens when he comes up, because that'll happen probably within the next week or so.
What is the best explanation you can give us for Profar and getting popped for PEDs?
Well, he was one of the worst hitters in baseball 2 years ago, and he became an all-star last year and wanted to get paid. I mean, that's all there is to it. Like, I don't blame him for wanting to get paid. Go do your thing. But, you have to understand that's a character flaw if you do it at the expense of, others. And I'm not just talking about teammates, talking about your organization, your minor league system, your fan base, everything. He wanted to get paid, so he went out and did it. It's selfish. It's a character flaw, but that's his prerogative. And I think we talked to Charlie Culberson about that, and he says it's really difficult when they come back into the clubhouse because, not only is he taking, is he letting everybody down, he's taking ABs away from people who deserve it. Therefore, he's taking money away from them. You know, like his season last year directly affected a lot of people who did not get as paid as much as maybe they would have had Profar not been on the market for him as much as he actually was.
Barrett, let's talk about tonight's game. The surprise Marlins, they're 4-3. They're a team that has found enough offense to get 4 victories. Schwelly's on the bump tonight. Across 22 career starts, though, Schwelly has been really good, 3.19 ERA. Kind of talk about tonight's matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Schwelly was awesome, even his first start against the Padres. So I think there's a ton of confidence in him. Snit and Craney, they really like the way he approaches games. I mean, you look at him, he's wise beyond his years. And they're going up against Max Meyer, who is not good. I mean, I know that's kind of lazy analysis, but he really isn't.
No,
good.
his ERA is about 6 career-wise.
Yeah,
so,
low 90s. The only thing he does halfway decent is that he does induce ground balls. The problem for him is that they usually find holes. So, but he is a ground ball pitcher. That means, you got to worry about Orlando Arcia grounding into double plays because that's what he does best. But if they don't get the bats right here, then I don't know. My co-host on the Ford leadoff show, Chris Domino, said if they lose, then he's going to do the next pregame show pantsless. So for my sake, I really don't want them to lose because I can't handle that in the studio.
No,
nobody wants that.
Is it officially time to hit the panic button?
No. I know we've had the stat like 0-7, nobody's made the playoffs, 2 teams have finished above 500. I get it, but it's a 7-game losing streak. That's happened to 85 different teams, including the World Series champion Rangers 2 years ago. And on top of that, dang near half the league makes the playoffs now. A lot of times those 0-7 starts, those teams with 0-7 starts didn't have that luxury.
That's true.
So it's not time to panic, but this time next week when we talk to each other, that might change.
Oh, we have faith. We have faith. You got the Marlins and Phillies.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
That's coming from a Cardinal fan, man. I don't have any. Listen, there's a reason why Las Vegas still has Atlanta as like one of the top teams to win it all. So,
no, that's true. ESPN had them 11th in the power rankings, and I was like, "Wow, okay, cool, that's different."
Well, that's for sure. All right. Well, listen, we appreciate it. It should be fun tonight as you guys get ready for opening night there, and always appreciate your time, Barrett. Stay strong.
My pleasure. Landrum, stay safe out there, and it's going to be a busy week in y'all's neck of the woods, that's for sure.
Yes. Have a great call tonight, and I will be with you in spirit. I'll be listening.
I appreciate it. Thank
All right, friend.
See y'all.
All right. Thanks, Barrett. That's Barrett Slee joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Landrum, we are live down here at the Edge Shopping Center and here in Homewood, and I know you're there in San Antonio and about to be joined by a very special guest here on site as we're just happy to be here on location, literally a nice football pass away from Corbo Wine Bar. And Dean Mayo joins us.
That's about a 40-yarder.
40-yarder?
Yeah.
Looks good. You and I were talking just a little bit earlier. My wife and I, we have visited your location in Trussville.
I appreciate that.
Just go on and on about how awesome it is. And now the Homewood folks on this side of the mountain, they get to enjoy Corbo. Just talk about you guys' story and what you guys bring to the Edge.
Well, it's a small family business. There's a few of us. 2 sisters. One was an operating room nurse, and one was a designer and a teacher. They woke up one morning and said, let's quit our jobs and open a wine bar. And did a lot of investigative research and really did their homework on what it takes. And a few months later, they woke up and said the same thing again. And then insert me. I'm like the industry guy of the bunch. So
Sure.
I've been in this business my whole life. And
Right.
we're super proud of it. There's a high level of integrity with everything that we do, whether it's the wine or the food and the ingredients and everything that we procure to find a nice polished, casual atmosphere for our guests.
Listen, as I mentioned, and what I've noticed is that what you guys have done in Trussville, it appears you guys have replicated this here in Homewood. And talk about the food, because I know it's a wine bar,
Yes.
but talk about the food because it's outstanding.
I appreciate that. So we took the opportunity to elevate the menu a little bit in Homewood versus Trussville, and like I said, everything is made from scratch. They're all my personal recipes. A lot of them are family recipes, and it doesn't matter if it's a sauce or a dressing. Those are all made from scratch.
Amazing. And you were telling me you're from New York, correct?
Upstate New York, yeah.
Upstate New York. So a good upstate New Yorker coming down here to the Deep South. What kind of change was that for you, try to get acclimated to the fine folks in the Deep South?
Well, it doesn't snow too much around here.
Well, that's good, though, right?
That is good.
That's good.
That is good. No, I love it. I love it down here. The Birmingham area, at Homewood, they're just fantastic people. We're so blessed to be a part of this community, and they've received us very well. And we just want to stay consistent, get better every day. And we're here, so come on out and see us.
Now, listen, you guys got a wonderful patio. We've taken advantage of the nice heaters you guys have in Trussville at times when it gets a little cool at night. But this shopping center, 18 South, you guys at Corbo, this is just a tremendous location, and I know a lot of people are getting an opportunity to experience this for the first time.
So what's very unique about this area is that it is a self-contained, safe place. And it is just very conducive to bringing the kids out, letting them have fun, run around. Mom and dad can enjoy a cocktail or, get something to eat, not really have to worry about any craziness around here.
Right.
But, great green space, great stage, big screen. The game's always on. There's always concerts around here. And along with our fantastic neighbors, we're just really looking forward to this summer and providing a very unique experience to this community.
Yeah, and it's really cool because you can sit out and have a cocktail, as you mentioned, and right here you've got the Jumbotron that all the games are on. You've got nice seating, and the kids can run around on the AstroTurf, throw a Nerf football around, and just have a good time.
Final Four is going to be fun around here.
It's going to be
great.
great.
I can tell you that.
It's going to be phenomenal. That is Dean Mayo from Corbo Wine Bar. You need to come by and see Dean and get a hold of some of those vittles.
I appreciate that. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. That is Dean Mayo joining us, Corbo Wine Bar here at the Edge. More three-man front. We're live here in Homewood, Jocks 94.5.
Welcome back in. Landrum Roberts live on Radio Row here in San Antonio, the 2025 Final Four. Our coverage, Jock 94.5, along with our friends at Westwood One and our friends at Wago. Trust your game. You got to trust your wiring with Wago Electrical Connectors. Gear up with wago.com/hoops for your next electrical project and for your next lunch, meaning today or this weekend. Make sure you get into Rambler Sports Bar and Grill there at the Phoenix, 1630 2nd Avenue South, 283-inch high-def projector screen, wall-to-wall video boards where you can catch all of the action, whether it's the Stallions coming up tonight, whether it's the Final Four tomorrow, the championship coming up this weekend, everything you got going on, but they have a great lunch selection as well. And you can grab and go. They got free parking. It's Rambler Sports Bar and Grill. If you haven't tried it, you have to. It's an upscale sports bar, but it's so much more. Rambler Sports Bar and Grill at the Phoenix, 1630 2nd Avenue South. Get in there this weekend.
So Barrett sounded pretty positive, right, Landrum, about tonight's game against the Marlins?
Yeah. What? Beats the alternative. I mean, you've been down in the dumps for the first 7 games of the season. You come back to the friendly confines and hope that things change.
Landrum, I'm going to give you the number one reason why I am taking the Braves tonight. Besides all the statistical data that we've been talking about Max Meyer, lifetime ERA for the Marlins at 5.50. That's not why I'm going to give you hope why they're going to win. You know why the Braves are going to win tonight?
Why?
On this date in 1974, Hank Aaron tied Babe Ruth with his 714th home run. There is no way the Braves are going to lose on the day that Hank Aaron tied Babe Ruth for the most home runs in baseball history.
Yeah, you just changed things with that little factoid.
How about that?
Yep. I'm convinced now. No, and
load
I'm
up on the Braves.
I'm a true believer in that.
Load
That's a sign,
up.
Braves
Get
fans.
into your safe in the hotel. Yep. Go to the local casino and load up on the Braves tonight.
Fill up your TP. Load up your wigwam.
Take the Braves now, tonight. Don't you? Do you feel better about the Braves now? I gave you that little factoid, as you said.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Pat, I'm going to step away for a second. You guys have fun in there at 18 South.
Okay, will do. Molly and I. Molly, it's a beautiful day, and we've always Pelham Gator has come by. Steve, we had Larry from Homewood, we had Joey from Sanford, sports information director. He came by here to have some lunch. We've got a lot of people that's stopping by to see us, and we appreciate that greatly.
Yeah, it's been a gorgeous day. It's been good to see everybody so far. And coming up tonight, they've got the Stallions watch party here, so come by. They got some great food options. I'm starting to smell some of the food, and it smells really good. It's kind of getting me a little hungry, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so come on by and see us. There's plenty of options. We just talked to Dean Mayo from Corbo Bar, and he's the chef over there, and he left a menu, and I know you've been eyeing that.
Oh, they've got a margarita.
There you go. There you go. Pelham Gator's already over there enjoying. He's celebrating, getting ready for the big game that is coming up. So much to get into with Auburn taking on, of course, the Florida Gators coming up tomorrow. Auburn leads the all-time series 92-84, but do you realize that the Tigers and Gators, they have split the last 6 meetings between the two, and this is only the second time that Auburn has faced an SEC team in the NCAA tournament. The 5th-seeded Tigers previously upset Kentucky 77-71 in overtime. That was back in 2019. That was in the Elite Eight in Kansas City, Missouri. In neutral site games, though, Auburn leads Florida 5-4 with all 9 of those previous contests occurring in the SEC basketball tournament, so the first time that has happened outside. Bruce Pearl is 13-14 lifetime against Florida as a head coaching career, including 5-9 at Auburn. Meanwhile, Florida coach Todd Golden, he is 500 against his former boss. He is 2-2 against the Auburn Tigers. Now, if Auburn does win tomorrow and get to Monday night, they are 0-2 versus Duke, as Auburn obviously lost 84-78 at Cameron Indoor Stadium early this year. The only other time that they played was back in 2018 in the Maui Invitational. Now, if it's Houston against Auburn on Monday night, we all know what happened earlier this year when Auburn won that game 74-69 at the Toyota Center in Houston. Auburn was ranked pretty high, Meanwhile, Houston, they were a top 5 team as well. Those two teams have played one other time in the NCAA tournament. That's when the top-seeded Cougars claimed an 81-65 win. That happened here in Birmingham when Kelvin Sampson took on Coach Pearl. But all eyes are on Janai Broome, Conrad, and all indications are, based on what Janai Broome told the media yesterday, that he is good to go for tomorrow night against Florida.
Yeah, you were absolutely right about that, Pat. And real quick, we will listen to what Janai Broome told the media yesterday when asked about what % he's going to be at. Did he practice yesterday? This was Janai Broome yesterday with the media.
No, I'm be 100% on Saturday for sure.
Are you going to practice today or tomorrow?
I practiced today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So there you have it, Pat. He practiced yesterday. We had heard from Bruce Pearl earlier in the week that he had not practiced yet. We talked about whether or not he would at all this week, just trying to get him as healthy as possible for tomorrow. But seems like, according to Mr. Broome, that he's 100%, and that's big for Auburn going into this matchup tomorrow, because it's hard to find a path to an Auburn victory tomorrow that doesn't involve Janai Broome having a pretty big day.
No, I think you're absolutely right. As you remember, Janai Broome, he finished with 25 points and 14 rebounds over in Atlanta. He sent State Farm Arena into a frenzy when he made that three-pointer when he came back off the bench when he was hurt. He had 21 points in that first meeting against Florida, in which Florida won that game 90-81. It was the first ever true road game victory by a Florida basketball team against a number 1 team. Walter Clayton Jr. only had 19 points and 9 assists. You're talking about a guy that had, 30 points in the last couple matchups for the Florida Gators in the NCAA tournament. So Auburn is still about a 2.5-point underdog in regards to that. So Bruce Pearl yesterday, he met with the media there in San Antonio. And as I mentioned, they are an underdog. So what did Bruce Pearl have to say to the media about his Tigers being that Vegas underdog?
Like Houston's won national championships. They've got history with Guy Lewis. They've been here before. Duke's that story's been over and over again, right? And Billy Donovan took Florida here, won a couple national championships, so Florida's got more history. We come in as the overall number 1, but we're probably considered the 4th best team here right now. So there is nothing new, and I prefer the underdog role rather than having to prove that we're as good as we say we are. So we're going to take that underdog role into the Final Four and see if we can capitalize on it.
There's no question he loves being in that underdog role. No question about it. He was also asked about Janai Broome. We just heard the clip about Janai Broome saying that he was 100% and that he practiced. Here's what his head coach had to say about Broome being ready.
Janai Broome said he's been working hard. He'll be 100% on Saturday. What does that mean for this team that he's going to be completely available with no limitations?
Well, I'm glad he feels that way. Today was the first day he moved and practiced, so I was glad to see him. Obviously, good to see him out there. And the one thing Janai Broome showed in this NCAA tournament, that there was another level, there was another gear. Everybody keeps watching him and wondering, when is he going to fizzle? When is he going to not show up? And he again managed to step up. He was 10 for 13 against Michigan State, and that was a huge difference for us. Now, look, Florida recognizes that, and Florida's bigs are a little bigger and a little bit more athletic than Michigan State's or Michigan's bigs. But Janai was the MVP of the South region, and we rode him hard, and we're going to ride him hard again on Saturday.
There you go. Bruce Pearl, sounds like a good plan, right? Just ride him hard there and get the most out of him as you can. All right, Bruce Pearl was asked about the physicality and the depth of this Florida Gator team. They've been very impressive so far in the NCAA tournament. Here's Coach Bruce Pearl.
We've stepped up with our physicality. We've competed very well on the boards. We've been really good on the offensive glass. And we've been able to win those matchups in 4 games. This is what Florida's strength is. They're plus 12.5 rebound margin right now. And they have 5 bigs that they rotate. And right now we're rotating 3. Depth is usually a strength of mine. We typically in my career been a guy that's played 9-10 guys double-digit minutes. We're really only playing 7, maybe 8. The length of the timeouts, the extra 5 minutes at halftime, gives a team with a little less depth an opportunity to maybe get a little bit more rest. But obviously the what takes its toll are the number of bodies they're going to put on our leading scorer in Janai Broom. And they know it, we know it, he knows it, and we're ready for it.
Well, there's no secret. These two teams know each other pretty well, not to mention the fact that the two coaches know each other extremely well. Todd Golden, the head basketball coach at Florida, if you do not know the story, he, of course, he's played for Bruce Pearl on some Israeli national teams. He got his first job as an Auburn director of personnel for Bruce Pearl down at Auburn. Then he got a head coaching job at San Francisco. He was successful there. He come to Florida. Look what he's done there. Here's Todd Golden in San Antonio talking about that close relationship with the Pearl family.
We're incredibly close. We have been for a long time now, almost 15 years. And, it's a little surreal, to be honest, to be able to be here at the Final Four. That in itself is a little surreal, but, playing on Saturday against one of your biggest and best mentors, not exactly something you expect, when the season starts. And, I know he's incredibly proud of me. I'm incredibly grateful for him and his family and the opportunities that they provided for me. I would not be here, if I didn't have my relationship and experience, working with and being around Bruce and his son Steven. And it's a little bit of a full circle moment, I'm sure for both of us. And, when the ball goes up on Saturday, it's going to be pretty cutthroat. But, until then, there'll be a lot of love shown and, again, a surreal moment for sure.
A very young coach in his 30s. So you got two coaches in the Final Four in their 30s, two other coaches in their 60s. Todd Golden believes his Florida Gators are going to have success here in the Final Four.
I think the same reason why I've had success all year, is why we'll be okay, being here and this being the first time. We have a very mature group. We have a very unselfish group and guys that are very driven. And, you look at the way we played all year. We've been a very consistent team. We've always been able to bounce back from losses the right way and make sure we get back to who we are and playing well. And, I think we've won 10 in a row coming into this event. And, our guys are not going to be satisfied going home Saturday night. I think going into the mentality that, obviously it will be a great season regardless, but if we lose on Saturday, we'll have a bad taste in our mouths. And, our senior leaders on the perimeter, I think, drive that. Walter, Will, and Elijah kind of make sure our competitive spirit's in the right place, and our young guys in the front court just play so stinking hard. They're going to do whatever they need to do to keep us alive. But, I point to kind of the collective unity of this group as the main reason as to why we deserve to and, we'll do what we need to do on Saturday night to stay here.
That is Todd Golden as his Gators take on the Auburn Tigers in the first of two tomorrow night in San Antonio. You can hear the game right here on Jocks 94.5.
Well, if you need somewhere to catch all the Final Four action this weekend, you need to go check out Big Whiskeys because they have several big screens in the bar with unique cocktails and over 120 whiskeys on tap. Also, on tournament game days this April, you can get $6 select appetizers, $2 domestics, and $3 craft beers. So you can go out, enjoy the outdoor patio and the game area this weekend. It's great for families, and the kids eat free on Tuesdays. So check them out in the Stadium Choice Village off Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
Split broadcast today from San Antonio on the Final Four on the banks of the Riverwalk in San Antonio. Also here at the Edge. Come by and see us. Molly and myself, we're here until 2 o'clock. This is Jocks 94.5.
11:33, we continue live from San Antonio Radio Row, Westwood 1 and Jock 94.5's coverage of the Final Four. Former Xavier and also former Louisville, current Charleston head coach Chris Mack's going to be joining us momentarily. How about Dobbs Ford? Dobbs Ford in Birmingham. Parkway East, that's the place to go. Joey Goshen, Rachel Goshen, that's his wife. They're the managing partners. Just wonderful people, and the service, the treatment you're going to get is what you expect to get everywhere. Unfortunately, we don't. But at Dobbs Ford, you're going to be treated first class. Dobbs Ford has a great selection, Alabama's largest showroom inventory, and they'll beat any competitor's price. That's not all you need to know. The pre-owned selection, all the monthly specials that they have, you're going to drive away satisfied. The F-150s, the Explorers, the Escapes, the Broncos Sports, and the Mustangs, just to name a few. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Go see and feel the difference at Dobbs Ford, DobbsFordBirmingham.com. And as always, make sure you tell them Landrum from Three-Man Front sent you. We do have Chris Mack, who's going to be joining us. Of course, Nate Oats coming up in the 12 o'clock hour, and Coach Oates nice enough with his time, and we'll check in with him and kind of put a bow on what we saw, but also some exciting news out of the transfer portal for Alabama fans. Meanwhile, for Auburn, Bruce Pearl meeting with the media yesterday. They have the open practice today. All four teams will be practicing just down the street from where I am right now, the Gonzalez Convention Center at the Alamo Dome, and things are really, really ramping up, guys, as far as folks that have made their way. We got kids from local schools that are being unloaded off of buses. It has gotten busy, and it has gotten busy in a hurry. Not that it wasn't already here in San Antonio with the Texas Valero Open and other things going on, but of course the Final Four, and a lot of fun things planned, I know, for Auburn fans, for Houston fans, Florida fans alike. Went by the Florida team hotel this morning. They're staying at the Westin just down the road, and the team bus was just outside. And so I'm guessing the Gators were probably gearing up, maybe having some breakfast, maybe a shoot around somewhere else. But Todd Golden, very confident with his team, and he should be. That was the team that a lot of people felt like they were playing their best basketball entering the month of March, and they were resilient and had a couple of tough contests. The come-from-behind win over UConn that they had in the second game of the tournament, and then what they were able to do against a very talented, gritty Texas Tech team also. But joining us now is a guy who knows all about the NCAA tournament, multiple Sweet 16s, 9 times. Just went through Coach Chris Mack's bio, 9 times the NCAA tournament, Elite 8, multiple Sweet 16s. And he joins us now. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's great to see you back on the sidelines, by the way.
Great to be back. I've been enjoying it.
How was the brief hiatus before you got back into it?
It was awesome. You know, it was I think anybody that can sort of take a sabbatical from whatever profession they do and sort of take a step back, it really was the first time I was able to, visit some other teams and programs and see how other coaches did things, and that was really refreshing. I think two things it does. I think it solidifies in some ways like what you do you really like even more. And then there's always, a few tweaks or some things that maybe you see in other programs that, hey, that would be great. I'd love to implement something like that. So, you got to be careful. You can't put too many things. A coach that stresses everything is good at nothing. And but for me, it was awesome, the time away, and really enjoyed being back, though I missed it.
Was there anything that maybe you had time to reflect, to learn about yourself, or maybe take a new approach? Not that you were doing anything wrong, but I think we all, when we kind of examine ourselves and we're able to kind of get big picture, 30,000-foot view, we can pick up on things that maybe we didn't notice before. Was there anything like that for you from your last job to where you are now?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the climate changed. I was sort of when Louisville and I separated, it was when the NIL, the collectives were just starting. People weren't sure what this was going to be about. So I step away. And so you're talking about a 2.5-year time where I sort of got to watch from afar some of my colleagues who I'd talked to, every once in a while sporadically. You could just see the bitterness growing, because this wasn't necessarily the game that they signed up for. The development, watching guys come in and then putting their name in the portal just to see if they can financially get some more money elsewhere. And so not having to grow in that and deal with it day after day after day, but to step away and then knowing when I got back into it, hey, this is what it's about. This is, you have to understand. And so that helped me, I think. I sort of knew, hey, this, just from talking to friends, this is how it's going to be, at least until, the house settlement comes down and they can sort of have a little bit of stability and hopefully, inevitably transparency as well. But that was certainly something that I needed, and I think has been a real help.
If there has been a common sentiment among coaches, and heard a future Hall of Fame coach yesterday, and he was complaining to another coach, and rightfully so, about portal numbers and values of players and how they're being thrown out, and a lot of the stuff that's reported is not even accurate, but the schools themselves, the programs, they're reacting to it as if it was at face value and counter-offering, and so then all of a sudden the market just becomes inflated and insane. It affects everybody differently. It's all relative. You've been at a program like Xavier or at Louisville. Now you're at the College of Charleston. That has had sustained success over its history, but it affects you guys too.
Oh, it's wild. I think sometimes because you don't really know who you're up against, even if you know the schools themselves, you don't really know what that collective is saying to the kid. You're getting it from the agent's mouth. His best interests are his client. And so sometimes you're probably bidding against yourself. And if you're robbing Peter, then you're not paying Paul, on your roster. And so you want to have the best players that you can. And, if you're giving a guy a whole lot of money on one end of the roster, that means the other part of the roster isn't. And so, it's a tap dance. That's for sure.
It really is. And I was talking to James Jones yesterday of Yale and saying, well, this makes your job easier. And he said, no, this actually makes our job harder, because it used to be a no-brainer for all the other things that we had to sell with the value of a degree at Yale and that education and all of that prestige. Now guys are having to take a second look where they used to not, because the NIL money is so great and they're being lured away. And it really kind of connected and hit home with me that the domino effect and how it affects everyone. Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, and listen, I've been in the business long enough. Everybody has problems. If you're at the highest of high majors, you're going to have issues. If you're at the lowest of low majors, you're going to have issues, money issues, stability, whatever the case is. Everybody has problems. I think that, it's become more difficult in a sense because the recruiting period is so condensed. Kids are making decisions out of the portal in a week and a half. Sometimes they're already made behind the scenes. In the past with recruiting, you could outwork some guys. You could absolutely spend more time with a family, communicating with them, outlining your vision, maybe doing just enough to beat that first place team in your league for a kid. Maybe instead of you're beating a kid that is supposed to maybe go at the next level, to the Big East or to the Atlantic 10, but because of the amount of time that you spent with the family on their visits, you were able to sort of win that family over and get that big-time recruit. There's so much less of that now. It's like financially, can you compete with an Atlantic 10 school, a Big 10 school, a Big East school? And that's where it becomes way more difficult. You can't really outwork people. You have to outpay people, unfortunately. And I think that's why you see, so few of upsets. I think that's why the highest of high majors are absolutely rolling through this tournament. I think a team like Drake is sort of a one-off because in years past, I think we all loved the tournament because you had these teams that were together for 3 and 4 years at the mid-major level. They'd gone through the wars. Maybe they got their heads knocked in as freshmen, and they just kept battling. By the time they were seniors, they were rolling through their conference. They win their conference tournament. They knock off Goliath. Well, now those teams, the roster volatility in low and mid-major doesn't allow for that camaraderie. At Drake, because all those kids were together at Division II, they go with their coach to Drake, they sort of have that feeling of yesteryear. And I think that's what we're missing. And I don't know if it can come back or not.
It seems like it's impossible to come back because you look at, let's just take Florida and Auburn, for example, and the lineups we're going to see tomorrow. You got a Denver Jones that started his career at FIU, Janai Broome. That's
Walter Clayton.
Walter Clayton. The list goes on and on. These guys, they were They were really good where they were, but now they've all collectively added and brought that veteran leadership in a lot of cases.
Talent.
And talent, and a lot of talent. I do want to ask this, and I'm not going to ask you about specific jobs. It seems like Charleston, I know Charleston is a wonderful place. It's a wonderful program, but your name is still, it's one of those, we get coaching hot board lists, and, candidates for certain jobs, and your name comes up. I'm not going to ask you if you aspire to do that, but where you are is different. Do you have a different mindset, maybe career path-wise, now than maybe versus where you were 8 years ago?
Not necessarily. I think for me, it's always been, and I know, it can be cliche and other coaches will say it, but for me, it's always about, is it the right fit for my family first and foremost? Any coach can follow, the money. Any coach can go to a program that maybe is more high profile, but if it doesn't fit for my family, I'm not going to entertain it. We decided to come back to Charleston. It wasn't our only option. There were a lot of schools that were on the table. There were some Power 5 conference, type jobs. But, I don't want to live in the middle of nowhere, not surrounded by family. Now we're a little bit removed from my wife's family, from my family, but we're in such a great spot in the country that everybody loves to visit us. Charleston basketball has had such a tradition. So when we picked to go to College of Charleston, and Matt Roberts, my AD, picked me, we were flattered, and we love the place. And so if I would ever make a move, my family's the first consideration. It's not the profile of job or any of that stuff. So, but we couldn't be happier.
A quick breakdown. I want to be responsible. Auburn and Florida, the semifinal. A lot of our listeners, a lot of Auburn fans. We got some Gator listeners as well.
Yeah.
How do you break down that one, Coach?
Man, I just think that I think it can go either way. We scrimmaged Florida our first time we played somebody different in late October, and it was eye-opening. We got on that practice floor down in Gainesville, and going through layup lines, you look over there, and I felt like we were looking at NBA size.
Was 7'9" guy over there in the layup line?
Ollie was over there. And it's just their size at the 4 and the 5 and on the wings just dwarfed our guys, and we got our heads handed to us, and I remember leaving there and telling our staff, we just faced a top 5, top 10 team. I was wrong because they're top 3. But again, Auburn and what Bruce has done there is just has been historic. When he took over, nobody thought anything of Auburn basketball. I just love Walter Clayton. I think he's what he did against Texas Tech isn't a one-off. He's just so good in the special moments. So good.
He'll rip your heart out.
Yeah, that's who I picked to win, probably based on the scrimmage that we had with them to start the year. And then I love the Houston Cougars, but, man, what they're facing in Malwich around the basket and Cooper Flag, and that's going to be a tough challenge. I think it'll be Duke and Florida in the finals, and, I'm going with Florida. I think Duke's probably going to win it all, but that would be my guess right now.
Charleston is a great spot. Had a cousin that captained a boat over there, but my mom, she would rave about the she crab soup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, babe.
Yeah.
There's the best seafood in the country right there in Charleston.
Hey, Coach Chris Mack, thank you so much,
Thank you for having
best of
me.
luck, and always admired the job you did.
I appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Chris Mack joining us here, Radio Row, 3-Man Front and Westwood One. Our coverage of the 2025 Final Four from here in San Antonio. Lots more to come. Nate Oats, Alabama head coach, in the next hour. We continue 3-Man Front on Jocks 94.5.
11:50 here on your Friday morning, three-man front. Conrad Van Order here atop the Magic City in the Jocks 94.5 studio. Pat and Molly out there at the Edge in Homewood. Go stop by, give them a visit. Landrum Roberts out in San Antonio at the Final Four. So we will get back to our Final Four coverage here as Auburn's taking on Florida tomorrow. 5:09 tip there, the first game of the Final Four, followed by Duke versus Houston. And as is tradition here at this time each and every Friday, we talk to our good buddy, JR. JR, how are we doing this morning, my friend?
Conrad, I could not be more excited. What a Final Four weekend it is going to be. We are pumped and ready to go. 22-10 in the tournament so far. As great as that is, it's actually the worst year I've had in 7 years, but couldn't be happier. Clients are up a ton of money. We are raking it in for everyone, and here's what I'm doing, okay? I'm going to give you the winner, actually, of the national title game. So I'm going to give you who's going to win it all. It's absolutely free. Text the word WIN to the number 545454. Let me give you the winner absolutely free. The reason why we're doing that is we want you to lock in something now so that you can get a nice hedge later with the perfect middle. We're going to tell you how to do it. Again, all you got to do is text the word WIN to the number 545454, and in the text back to you, we're going to give you the winner of the national title game. It is absolutely free as always. There are no strings attached. Guys, we are all about numbers. We are here to make you money, and I want you to understand the value in what we bring to the table, not just the fact we win like crazy, but also that we understand money management and how to make guys take advantage of the best opportunities out there. So text the word WIN to the number 545454. Let me hit you off with the national title winner free of charge.
Yeah, and we appreciate you doing that for us, JR. And I know, coming up in a couple minutes, we'll get your free pick as well, which you've been absolutely on fire with us for, here during your entire time with us on three-man front. But before that, this is the last time we're going to have you on for a little while. So I wanted you to have the opportunity, remind everybody how they can get in touch with you, all the different ways they can get in touch with you, because we have so many listeners, JR, that tell us every week. First off, they ask, when's JR coming on? When's JR coming on? He made me so much money last week. So these people, this might be the last opportunity to hear from you for a little bit. How can they get in touch with you for Major League Baseball season, NBA playoffs coming up, and then, of course, football will be here before we know it?
Sure. And the good thing is we got an easy number to remember, okay? It's 888-9-WIN-NOW. 888-994-6669. And, this is, again, not my best year. It is a great year. College basketball was insanely good. We are documented top plays 65% this year in college basketball, actually over 65%. Almost 60% in college football, which was actually a down year from last year where we hit 64%. And our NFL was way down from what it normally is. You guys all know, I've made my bones in the NFL forever. 30 years at way over 60%. This year, with lowest number we've had in a while, close to 55% in the NFL. And that's one of the things I think that separates us from all the other, guys that are in this industry that give the industry a bad name. And that's we talk about what is real, right? You're not going to win every game, okay? There's going to be losses out there. So money management is so really important. It is paramount. And the way that I do this is different times a year we change gears. Depending on what we think we're going to be getting, the strategy is ever changing. And I'm going to tell you how much you should be going up utilizing a positive progression and how much you should be going back to when things are not going our way. Okay. So, and again, this is one of those things that each person has an individual strategy. So you can get in touch with us and speak to any one of the reps. You mentioned my name. If you're a good enough player, you and I will have a conversation. So the number is 888-994-6669. And again, that's 888-9-WIN-NOW. And if you want this week's free play, I'm willing to give it to you absolutely free. The winner of the national championship. I'm giving you the national championship winner via text message absolutely free. All you got to do is text the word WIN to the number 545454, and we'll give it to you. Again, no strings attached. You get it right away. It comes to you in a text message, so text WIN to the number 545454. And the other thing, Conrad, is this year, I got to tell you, even though the numbers are slightly down on 2 out of the 3 sports, of course, college basketball was through the roof. but the amount of money we made people this year is really astounding. I mean, we've got astronomical figures that we've been hitting for folks. I've got one guy in particular who's up over $2.5 million on my picks this year. I got another guy who's approaching $2 million. I mean, it is all over the place. I got one particular gentleman who I know is listening to us. He catches us on WJOX every week, even though he's down in Florida, in my old stomping grounds in Sarasota. He knows who he is. He's probably loving I'm bringing him up right now, but he's a great client. Perfect example of somebody who really started small, extremely skeptical at the very beginning, and now he couldn't be my biggest fan, and I love how he's very interactive. He's part of it. He asks questions. That's the sign of a great client who wants to be a part of it and understand what we're doing and really is capable of pulling the trigger and doing things at a really high level, whereas before he didn't have the confidence to do that on his own because he didn't have professionals who understand this stuff in his corner. So check it out for yourself. I mean, text the word WIN to 545454. I'll give you the national champion winner absolutely free. And if you're interested in talking and getting involved with us and being a part of our NBA and our Major League Baseball and the upcoming college football and NFL season, we'll love to have you on board. There's no pressure here. You can reach us anytime at 888-9-WIN-NOW. That's 888-994-6669.
All right, real quick, JR, we got about 30 seconds. What is your free pick? Our listeners have been waiting all week long.
Sure. We again, last week, I hope you took advantage of the free pick, which was Tennessee over Kentucky. I think we've hit 7 out of the last 8 weeks free on air. We'll go into the NBA. Thunder need to basically win out, guys. They opened up a 4.5-point favorite. They're up to -6 on the road, taking on the Houston Rockets. Look for the Thunder not only to win, but easily cover this game. We've got them winning this between 12 and 15 points.
Welcome back. It is a Friday, straight up 12 o'clock. Landrum Roberts live from Radio Row. Our friends at Westwood One hosting us this week in San Antonio. Tomorrow, the Final Four. Auburn taking on Florida in Game 1. You can hear the game right here on Jackson 94.5. And then, of course, we'll have Westwood One's coverage of Duke and Houston to decide who plays for it all on Monday night. How about Mandu in downtown Homewood? Get into Mandu. You can try some electrical muscle stimulation fitness. Your first visit's going to be free, and because of the technology, that electrical muscle stimulation fitness, which, by the way, has been FDA approved, it's perfectly safe for you. Get in there. It's a 15-minute workout they're going to put you through, and there's all different types of workouts. If you haven't been in a gym in a while, or quite honestly, it's really been a long time since you've done anything, that's fine. The baby steps, they'll put you through it, but the 15 minutes, because of that technology, is the equivalent to 6 to 8 hours in the gym. You're going to get results. I've gotten results. Try it. See if you like it. And the first visit, they're going to put you through the workout. Mandu in downtown Homewood, MANDUU.com. Tell Paul and the gang that Landrum from Three Man Front sent you, and excited to have so many guests that have been joining us and just had a chance. We talked to Chris Mack, former Louisville and Xavier coach, current College of Charleston coach, in the last hour. I just had a chance to step away and talk to Norfolk State coach Rob Jones, and he is a guy that faces Florida team, so getting a breakdown of that. You want to check us out on social media and also here on Three Man Front from all of the content that we're having here in San Antonio. We couldn't do it without our friends at Westwood One and our friends at Wrangler. Here's to the early risers, the go-getters. Shop Wrangler.com for the new denim styles to kickstart your day. Wrangler for the ride of life. Landrum Roberts here in San Antonio. Patrick Smith and Molly G. Robinson are live at 18 South there in Homewood for a fun event, and I understand it is a hashtag giddy-up type day with the Stallions coming up tonight, but also you've got the cheer team that is out there, Pat.
Yes, they just showed up just a couple minutes ago, the wonderful Stallions cheer team, as the Stallions are on the road tonight, but they'll be back home next week, so they're having a watch party here at The Edge, located on Green Springs Highway. You can't miss it. It's right across the street. It's a wonderful shopping center right across the street from McDonald's here on Green Springs. This big old Jumbotron. You can't miss it. If you're driving down Green Springs now, you look over to your left or right, and you can see the big Three-Man Front logo, as couldn't get Molly's Employee of the Month picture up here on the Jumbotron quick enough. But you can see the Three-Man Front
I had my
logo.
headshot ready.
Yeah, you did. But the Stallions, you can watch it right here at The Edge tonight, a big watch party going on. Some news coming out of San Antonio. Landrum is there inside the Gonzalez Civic Center complex there, right below the Tower of the Americas.
Tell me Chris Mack just got a job. That'd be awesome.
Now, I'm going to tell you that Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl and St. John's head coach Rick Pitino, they were honored this morning by the Associated Press as the Men's College Basketball Coach of the Year. So it was a tie between Rick Pitino and Bruce Pearl. Both received 20 votes in the balloting of the national media. So there you go. Louisville's Pat Kelsey received 8 votes, and Duke's John Shire had 5. So you have a tie for the National Coach of the Year between Bruce Pearl and Rick Pitino.
I mean, what Pitino did at St. John's has been incredible. We know the ride that Auburn's been on. I was thinking, is there anybody else that you think, Pat, was omitted or maybe a little bit surprised that they did not receive any votes? I was just going from the SEC. I mean, we've had so many good stories in the SEC.
I would have thought Todd Golden might have gotten a few more votes than Louisville's coach.
I would think so.
I think Golden's that's a good call. But what about some of these coaches that took over programs that had been down in the dumps or remarkable turnarounds? I mean, I think what Dennis Gates did was incredible at Missouri this year.
Yeah, that's another good one.
But maybe it was kind of the slide there. They lost a little bit of steam at the end of the season. I don't know if that hurt him or they're just, who knows. So many good stories, but the two guys that you just mentioned, they got 20 votes apiece, and they're going to share the honor. Well deserved for sure.
Yeah, so this is only the second time in Auburn basketball history that the head coach has been named National Coach of the Year. Back in 1999, Cliff Ellis was named the AP Coach of the Year. He is the first SEC coach to win the award since Kentucky's John Calipari 10 years ago. How about that? So Bruce Pearl now in company with John Calipari on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coach Cal.
Good stuff. We're at the Edge Shopping Center right outside of 18 South, and coming up later this afternoon from 2 until 7, it will be the Mizzen and Main buy one, get one 50% off here at the Edge and at 18 South. So they're having this trunk sale here by Mizzen and Main, and Molly, you and I were just in the store during one of our commercial breaks, and a bustling of activity, a lot of people taking advantage of these wonderful deals at 18 South.
Yeah, lots of people. And if you're like me and you're looking for some good women's clothing, they have so many great options. They even have a sale going on, I believe, for both Alabama and Auburn clothing options as well.
That's
So
correct. Yes.
if you need to stock up for the season, go and check out 18 South here in Homewood.
A little fun update for you guys. You remember a couple weeks ago I asked you guys on Pat Ponders about naming the orphan cougar cub? Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, Madonna.
Yeah, you wanted to name it Madonna. It was going to be Sage, Sierra, or Juniper, right? You remember that?
Yes.
5,700 people voted, and we have a winner. And it's not Madonna. Juniper is the name of the cub.
That's cute.
Not a fan?
I would have
really
voted
not
for
cute.
Sage.
No, there's nothing cute about Juniper.
Juniper, whose name comes from the Rocky Mountain juniper, a plant of the cougar's native range, lives in the zoo's new Wojciechowski Cougar Crossing next to two bobcats, Boomer and Baxter.
Did you see Wojciechowski?
Wojciechowski. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Huh.
Are you saying that because you were impressed that I said Wojciechowski correctly?
No, I just wondering.
We were about to get some breaking NBA news when you said that.
I know. That's what I was thinking, too.
Oh, you were waiting for a Wojo bomb?
I
is
was.
That what what the problem was?
Yeah, Wojo is a lover of the big cats and throwing some money that way in Birmingham.
Yeah, the Wojciechowski
really cool.
Cougar Crossing.
Okay.
You haven't been to the Birmingham Zoo lately, have you there?
No. I love going to the zoo, though.
Hey, let me tell you something. San Antonio's got a great zoo.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's got a really good zoo. As a matter of fact, I was almost attacked by a kangaroo one time when I was there. Yeah, no lie. Those suckers are mean.
How old were you, and why was the kangaroo attacking you?
Actually, this was on my honeymoon when Leanna and I were there. Yeah, let Leanna tell you the story. Yeah, it's a good one.
Are you sure it was a aggressive, like, I want to hurt this human, or maybe
no,
you were
this was
giving
like,
off
I'm coming
a
up to the
scent?
fence. No, I'm coming up to the fence and I'm going to kill you, human. Like, get away from the fence. It was that bad. I didn't do anything. I didn't provoke it.
Okay.
I'm not a provoker. Y'all know
Oh,
that.
no, not you. No. Nobody else on this show would agree with me. Show of hands, who believes that Pat did nothing to provoke the kangaroo?
I did absolutely nothing.
Everybody's hands stand down.
I was an innocent bystander. I was almost attacked.
It could have been mating season. You never know.
I don't know. I don't know what it was.
She liked what she saw.
I don't know. I don't even know if it was a male or female. I have no idea.
What was Leanne doing at this point?
She thought that she was about to be a widow, like on her honeymoon.
She pulled out that fun saver. She was like, I'm getting this on camera.
She pulled out that old disposable camera.
The Polaroid.
Oh, yeah. Those are mean, though. But how about that? 5,700 people voted and paid money. And paid money.
I would have voted for Sierra, but that's just me.
Yeah,
Landrum tried to put
we're gonna
Madonna
have
in there.
He had a write-in.
That's very Russell Wilson of you, Molly.
If we got to choose from all three, I would have gone Sierra too. Sierra,
See? Yeah.
that's more of a cat name. Madonna would have been funny though. That would have been good. I think Madonna gets a lot of attention and brings a lot of new people to the zoo.
So I was reading an article this morning from Auburn Undercover. I'm going to get your take on this, guys. So a bunch of Janai Broom's teammates yesterday, they mentioned that after this season, no other Auburn basketball player moving forward should wear number 4. It should be retired. What do you guys think about that? Got a feeling one way or another?
Wait, that Auburn should retire the number 4?
Yes.
You know, I don't.
If you win a national championship, yes.
Yes, yeah.
So wait a second. If they don't win a national championship, you don't think he's worthy?
I disagree. Yeah, I think that Janai Broom, you probably he's earned it. 3 years and the whole story. I don't think Auburn fans should have a problem if they decide to retire it.
I mean, I don't think
Let's
it's
not
bad. I guess I
pretend
just hold
Auburn
that to a very high
basketball
standard.
has a bunch of other, just a ton of other greats, like in football, that you're snubbing here. I think
That's
Janai
true.
Broom has honored. Look. There's a lot of basketball numbers they're not using. There are available numbers. I'm not talking we have to go Yankees numbers, but there are plenty of numbers available
That's true.
that you just don't see people wearing or guys wearing anymore. Seems like it's a single digit age in football and in basketball. Does it not?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think he's done so much for the program, and whether they win a national championship or not, I think that would be an honor that would be bestowed upon him. I think that would be appropriate.
He's the national player of the year. What he has meant to your program, yeah, hang it in the rafters. So who else is besides Barkley is retired at Auburn? Male basketball players, not females. Just Chuck and Wesley Person, would their numbers be retired?
Mike Mitchell.
Mike Mitchell.
John Minglet or Mingel.
How about this?
Frederick.
Okay.
How about this for a little? Do you know where Mike Mitchell played most of his basketball, Landrum? Professional.
San Antonio.
You're correct. San Antonio
Look at
Spurs.
that.
I went many times and watched him. He was one of the best players. Him and George Gervin played together on those teams that battled the Lakers every year for the Western Division Championship. Yep. He was good, really good.
But can we go back to the retirement of the jersey? I don't mind retiring the jersey, but if I wouldn't have a problem if somebody else wore it. Just hang the jersey up, and you see what I'm saying? Just hang it up in the rafters.
Yeah.
Honor the player, have the name on the back, have the jersey number. But this day and age with NIL, and if some hot shot is dead set on wearing that number, you got to make that thing happen.
I just found it interesting because the respect that most of his teammates had in this article, they were talking about how no other Auburn players should ever wear that number. So I just found that very, very interesting and honoring of their teammate. So
That's very nice of him to say.
That was really nice.
I'm sure Bruce Pearl will have a statue when it's all said and done outside.
I don't think there's any doubt about that whatsoever. Golston Tree Service. Here's the phone number that you need to remember, because I know we had a couple of really bad windstorms the last couple of days, and they've been very busy. 205-337-4018 to Golston Tree Service, operated by a certified arborist, been in business for over 35 years. They can handle the big jobs, the little jobs. Matter of fact, last night they were called out on a job in Mountain Brook because they had a tree go over on some electrical lines, and Golston was called immediately, and Golston got out there and helped the homeowner take care of all that, and they can take care of you. 24-hour storm work service, 205-337-4018. That is the number. Let them handle any type of issue, and their certified arborist is going to give you an opinion on whether some things need to be cut down before we get one of those storms, because spring is here and we will have those coming up, including some bad storms coming up Sunday morning. So Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4018. Myself and Molly, we're live at the Edge here in Homewood. Come on by and see us till 2 o'clock. Landrum Roberts in San Antonio. We're scheduled to talk to the head basketball coach of the University of Alabama, Nate Oats, next here on Jocks 94.5. Coach Nate Oats from the University of Alabama will be joining Landrum on site there in San Antonio momentarily. Molly and I, we are live at the Edge, 18 South. Come on by the Mizzen and Main Trunk events.